Vidhura, right? So anyone know who is Vidhura? He's brother of Panduraj and Dhritarashtra. You know the story of Vyasa, that these two wives of Ambika, Ambalika, they were afraid of something, and later they sent their what do you call, their servant. So that time this guy born. Okay, so but he is very ethical. So when we call Vidhura Niti, generally in this generation we generally talk about Niti, right? But Chanakya himself taught that Niti, the ethics, the morality, from Vidhura. So Vidhura is known for his outstanding moral values. Okay, so this is all about our paper 5th, Gender Studies, GS4, Ethics, Integrity and Aptitude. So you can use at least his quote if any question appears in your exam. So I will start with one of the great quote of Eko Dharmaha Param Shreyaha Shamaiko Shanti Ruttama Vidheka Paramam Drishti Ahinsake Sukhavaha. Ante enti? What is this meaning? So the righteousness is the one highest good, and forgiveness is the one supremeness, right? Supreme peace. Why do people why do you think people have a lot of anger, disturbances, like no peace of mind? Why? What would be the reason for having not peace in anyone's life? It's not just I will talk. You have to also participate in this discussion so that you at least interpret whatever the things I am saying, you can apply for your preparation. Okay, so generally, why don't people have peace of mind?
Not able to find right means to achieve their goal or right opportunities in this competitive world, right kind of path in their life, right kind of attitude in addressing issues, lacking all those.
Why do people get angry?
They don't know problem solution.
They don't know the solution.
Lack of patience.
Lack of patience. And online, you can also tell me what are the reasons for not having peace? Expectations, desires, very good. Okay. Lack of yoga. Okay, which yoga? So generally, yeah, all these things, most of the time we expect something that may not be fulfilled. So for that you will lack peace. Okay. So generally we will get anger. Why we will get anger? The expectations are not reachable. So sometimes may in your personal relations you expect from person something and the person behaves in another way. And sometimes we are not able to control our senses. So when you are not able to control senses, automatically results into lot of disaster. Okay. So sometimes people will hurt you. So that point of time also you lose your peace, right? So at that point of time, it's better if you want to have peace. There was a question. Forgiveness is the whose attribute? Strongest attribute. It's not the weakness. Forgiveness is not the weakness. It is the strong people attribute. Why? Because forgiveness means it's not about you are weak. It is taking control of your life. You are not depending on anybody. So that's its main intention. The forgiveness is the one supreme peace. Knowledge is one supreme contentment. And benevolence or helping others is the soul happiness. So what is the ultimate aim of human being? Happiness. So if you want to be happy, if you practice benevolence, helping others, if you are compassion, there was a quotation. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to help others, practice compassion. So compassion is the ultimate way to live a happy life. Okay. So another, I felt it's a good because as a civil services aspirant, you have to give one attempt, another attempt, you have to give till you achieve your goal. So for that, what is the important attribute is aspirant must have? Perseverance. So perseverance, he is saying that it is the root of prosperity, of gain, and of what is beneficial. The man that pursue an object with perseverance and without giving it up in vexation is really great and enjoy happiness that is unending. So whenever you have that perseverance to achieve something, and automatically that will result into happiness, and that will also result into you success. So that is the intention that I have kept this perseverance. So these quotes and other quotes also there in that book, so you can use in your exam. So before that, I know maybe most of the aspirants already old students. If any new students, it is important to know the syllabus of a particular subject. So how many of you know what is the syllabus of ethics? Ethics, you should see, syllabus means you should not tell like this. You should tell each and every word, because there are only 8 subheadings, right? 8. Only 8 sentences are there. You should remember, and this is the one paper that has only specific syllabus. And you know, for GS 1, 2, 3, you have to read multiple subjects, right? For example, if you GS 1, history is there, society is there, geography is there. But if you take history, modern history, world history, but if you take ethics, you have only 8 lines of syllabus. And this 8 lines of syllabus, if you don't remember, that would become a sin. So I am telling you, please remember each and every keyword of the syllabus. Okay, so these are the important. That's my main thing. Whenever you want to prepare for either it is prelims or main, you have to have your own syllabus book beside you. Whenever you are giving preparation, you must have your syllabus copy with you. Okay, so the 8 sentences, one is the ethics and human interface, and second is the attitude. Actually, this comes under the first line itself. Attitude and aptitude and foundational values for civil services, emotional intelligence, contribution of moral thinkers and philosophers, public civil service values, ethics in public administration. So I think, how many we got? 6. And one more thing? Probability. Another thing? Case studies. Very good. So these are the 8 statements that are for given for UPSC, your GS4 syllabus. Now, so you know, for GS 1, 2, 3, the question paper pattern is same. But coming to the GS4, there is a difference between GS 1, 2, 3 and GS4. So what is the difference? Okay, so yes. So in this session, we will deal just what is the ethics question paper pattern and what is the highest to score, and how do you score high marks in ethics, and what are the hindrances and how to overcome. Okay, and also we'll practice one theory question or one case study also if time permits. Okay, I know that you might have watched a lot of videos of toppers, but there is a difference between this session and their sessions. All people will say, if you gather the information, they come to some conclusion. But to come that conclusion, I will point out few things that will make you to think and rectify if you have any issue with that preparation. Okay, so coming to the question paper pattern, as you know that we have section A is the theory, section B is the case studies. The total paper for 250 marks. So what they have done, they have given 6 case studies. So 6 into 20, 120 marks, and the remaining 13 theory questions, 130 marks. So each one is the 10 mark. This is the question paper pattern. And now the total highest score, how much score? Highest score till now in ethics? It's only 162. Inka, if in future you have to beat the score. So this is known for, I think most of the aspirants might know already, Vishakha Yadav, she scored 162 marks in ethics paper. So from ethics and ethics, it is understood that any aspirant, if really put lot effort proper way, in proper manner, they can score more than 160. Essay, what is the highest score till now?
170.
175 in essay, and the only paper that can give the edge. And similarly, in ethics also, you can score more than 162. Once already proved that you can score more than 160, that no paper, GS 1, 2, 3, cannot give that much edge to you. Okay. And if you observe other aspirants, other toppers also, for example, Garima Lohia, this year 141, 132, 128, 121, 129, 157, 146, 144. What is it indicating? 131, Athar Amir, 147. What is all indicating? What it is indicating? Can anyone tell me why I am showing all these marks? Comparatively got the highest mark. And achievable. Very good. See, increasing year-wise, marks also increasing, okay, compared to other person, possibility to get, very good. So general human tendency is that, you know, a lot of theories like initially, whenever there was a long jump, they used to say that only 1 meter or something. I don't know the exact meters and all, but when they change their body, some angles and all, they achieved more distance. So every time our mind is limited, like we limit ourselves with our own thoughts, right? So if we want to go beyond that, you need to see something already achieved. If someone already achieved 162, you can achieve more than 162 also. So don't put any barrier that I only get only 120 is enough, yeah. Getting 120 in ethics, okay. Getting 150 essay is okay. No, it's not okay. You already scored 175 in essay and 162 in ethics, then you can score more than that. So that is, see, I think you might have read Power of Subconscious Mind or Secret. So all those books tell you, you imagine that you got, but what do you imagine? You get the service? No, you have to imagine how many marks I have scored also. If you have the measurable quantity that you are going to achieve in your mind, then only you do the action. If you don't have anything particular in your mind, so you may not, you don't know how many marks you are going to achieve. If you have, your target is, yes, if she got 162, I can get 165. If you think like that, you start working on that. Your mind will search. This is when you read the newspaper, you feel, yes, this is the quotation I can use in my essay or ethics. Okay, this is the example. Yeah, this is the very best practice that administration, this source, Gujarat administration is taking. So I can use this best practice in my answer. When you decided that I am going to get 162 or 165 or 170, automatically your action will move towards that goal. And there is no goal, there is no quantity measurable goal for you, and you will never achieve that goal. I'm telling you, you have to be specific with respect to your goal, specific with respect to your marks. If you are not clearing your preliminary exam, you have to put a goal. No, 110 is sufficient for me to clear the exam. No, you put your goal as a 140 or 150. Why shouldn't I get this score? When you put the goal high, automatically your action also improves. Okay, so why I am stressing all these things, it's all about your mindset. If your mindset is not proper, even though you put a lot of effort from morning to evening, and I can tell you, if the negative mindset never give you the positive result. If you want to have positive result, please have a positive mindset. Understood? Because it's really many of the students who actually I came across a few of the students, they work a lot, matlab morning to evening, night till 10:30, they will give almost 14 hours. But when I asked one student, still that person was very skeptic about himself, that maybe my answer writing skills are not good. If you don't feel confident about your answers, if you don't feel that your answer is good, how can that universe will expect you to give you good marks? Okay, and when people already achieved, this is not a new thing. If there is a profession, if there is something new, you have to have a lot of struggles. But someone already achieved, they already showed the path. Most of the aspirants also, they have given you freely their notebooks also, notes, PDFs. Something like for example, if one girl, lady, I didn't remember her name, she even gave her that case studies, how one case study representation pic will change to other case study. That is they had already done and they are already sharing with you. And what is the problem with you? It's easy. You can use them and just you put in your answers. Nothing more than that. Someone already did that lot of effort and also appeared in their exam and they got it. No, just you need to replace them, just reapply in your exam. That's it, not more than that. Okay, so before this, you have to, by the end of the session, I expect from you that you set your target for your ethics. For example, maybe you want to have 160 marks, then put, yes, I am going to target my ethics marks 160. So that you have to think about yourself. Then, so, I think you have already gone through various videos or might be have a lot of information about how to write ethics. Okay, ethics answers or how to score, what are the sources they have taken. But most of the aspirants, especially in English medium as well as the Telugu medium students, there are some barriers. That barriers you should identify, because all the aspirants are not belong to same socio-economic background. So one student might have studied in some girls' high school or boys' high school, government aided schools, and one student might have studied in St. John's, St. Anne's, very highly like Hyderabad public school. There, the language skills are good compared to government aided school students. That difference is always there. So by understanding that difference, you should check where you are lacking and you should rectify so that you can achieve this goal very earliest. Okay? Now, see what is the first hindrance here. Do you have good speed reading skills? Why do you need very speed reading skills? What is the matter here? What is the matter here? See, if you observe for ethics question paper is really without any preparation also you can go and attempt. All the questions you can attempt. But there is first hindrance is that if you observe a whole question paper from 2013 to now 2023, in this question paper, there are nearly almost 1800 words are given in the question paper. Can anyone tell me how many words you can read in a minute? How many words you can read in a minute? Please guess it. It's not a preliminary exam. Please tell me how many words you can read in your 1 minute time. Huh? How many words? I'm asking you, just tell me, guess, at least guess it. How many words you read in a minute? An average student can read 60 to 70, okay. 40 to 60, very low. 200 to 250, too high, okay. Then, so generally, an average, if I say at least minimum, you can read 100 words. If you practice, you can go for 150 to 250 words also with practice. If you don't have practice, you may not read 150 to 200 words. You need practice. Okay. If you, for example, for 1800 words are there in this question paper. For 1 minute, if you think it is 100 words, how many minutes you will lose only just reading the question paper? How many minutes you will lose just reading the 1800 words? 20 minutes. And if you see at the last 2022, there is 33,000 words. It means half an hour. It's on average you are losing 18 minutes or maybe 20 minutes only for reading the question paper. Only just reading the question paper itself, you are losing 20 minutes of time. How much time you require for one question? 7 minutes. So this 18 to 20 minutes is taking away 3 questions, 3 answers. Am I right or wrong?
Yes.
Yes. So 3 questions you are not able to answer means how should be your reading speed? Are you able to understand what I am trying to say? All those are telling, yes, you follow this, you follow that. That is very beautiful. But before that, you need to question whether your reading speed is good or bad. If you improve on the reading speed, you not only reading, you have to interpret the question also. And the third hindrance is the understanding the question itself is the barrier. Most of the aspirants, they never understand the question itself. There is a problem. Yes, they got this tell like that because they might work a lot. Maybe we don't know, right? How much effort they have kept in backside. We see only the outcome. We never see how much effort they have kept throughout the years. Okay. So why do I am specifically mentioning? See, most of the aspirants, especially even Telugu people, they think that without English I can qualify, I can clear the exam. I'm telling you, those people who are writing in Telugu medium, you have only comfort of expression, not more than that. You have to understand each and every as equal to English medium students because you have to understand the question, you have to interpret like English medium students also. The only comfort is to express your views comfortably. Other than that, there is no speciality for Telugu medium. Not only Telugu medium, all regional languages except Hindi medium, all are having the same issue. Whether you accept it or don't accept it, it's up to you, but this is the truth. If you are not happy with this, I'm okay. But this is the truth because this, if it is going to take, it's almost 20 to 25 or 30 minutes. If you are very slow speed, if your reading speed is very low, automatically it will take half an hour time. And you will left with only 2.5 hours. And you know, for to complete the ethics question paper, you know, that is also another challenging. Most of the aspirants, if they scored means high, they have completed the full paper. It means while managing the 20 minutes for reading, within 2 hours, 30 minutes or 40 minutes, they are able to complete all the questions. So the second hindrance, it automatically showing already you are lacking 20 minutes. It means you already have to have very speed writing skills. If you don't have, you can practice. It's not a problem. Either this reading speed or writing speed, both are achievable if you put a lot of practice. I'm not giving you some, what this madam is trying to say negatively. No. If you have problem, rectify it. That's what I want to say. Because I know most of the aspirants used to say that, madam, I am unable to complete the paper within the timeline. The problem might be with your reading speed. The problem might be with your writing skill. Because we know if ethics you have to score, what you have to do? You have to complete the whole paper. I have written only 15 best answers. No, that strategy will never work to a topper. If you have to be a topper, a single digit topper, you must remember you should answer all the questions, whether it is GS 1, 2, 3, 4. I can tell you, if you want a logic, I will tell you. For example, if you have written 15 questions very well and you scored very well, hardly, if you got each and every question, you got 7 marks, maybe 105. But I have attempted 20 questions, average I got 6 marks, I got 120. 15 marks edge is always there. So please, if you want to score high, if you want to be a topper, remember the important logic to complete all the questions. GS 1, 2, 3, 4, even in your optional. Don't play any logic like I will write the best 15, the best 18. No. Shut your mind, say we are going to write writing all the answers. Okay. So one is the reading skills, and the second is the writing skills. If you don't have speed reading and writing skills, you have time. You can still work on it. It's not a problem. But if you find out that your speed reading skills, writing skills are not up to the mark, you have to improve it. Okay, done. Next. So you can divide the time, and one of the important thing is that you just first try to write case studies rather than theory part. Because theory part का question इतना होता है, last time में if you have problem, you can write very fast. But case studies is very difficult to write in the last moment. So it is better if you write for case studies first, then you attempt for theory questions, then that would be better. Okay. Then, do you have concepts or definitions clarity? And most of the aspirants, they don't understand the difference between ethics and morality. Okay. If I can ask you now also, there might be I get the doubt. Can anyone give clarity between the ethics and morality? So there is a technical difference, but they get confused. Okay. Honesty and integrity and probity. Sympathy, empathy, compassion. Okay. These are the basic things, but there is no proper clarity. If you have clarity, you can apply. If you don't have clarity, it is difficult to answer all the questions. So ethics is very easy subject, but if you have the clarity of the concepts, you can write all the questions happily. But if you are stuck up with concepts and definitions, proper clarity, if there is no clarity, you take help either from mentor, or either you attend some classes, or you can discuss with your friends. But you ensure that your concepts are clear. Okay. Next. And so why I am asking you, because there is a problem with the interpretation of the question. When you don't have clarity with respect to concept or definition, you automatically interpret the question in a wrong manner. And also, whenever there are different keywords given in the question, you may not interlink the question, the keywords properly. And also, when you lack the conceptual clarity, you may not apply them as per the demand of the question. Understanding the question will be difficult. Interpretation of the question is difficult. And also, you may not apply as per the demand of the question. So, most of the aspirants, whenever they see the question, if there is integrity, there is a word, and they start writing about the integrity. What the question is really demanding, they will not address that. Whatever they know, they start writing that in the question. But that is not the way to score high marks. You should understand how the words are interlinked in the given question, so that you can properly address the question as per the demand of the question. For example, if you read this question, actually we have already posted one PDF in our shanthalakshmiias Academy channel. These questions also given. If you want, you can take. So this is already previous question, but I just want to ask you, how many of you really understood this question? Without commonly shared and widely entrenched moral values and obligations, neither the law nor democratic government nor even the market economy will function properly. What do you understand by this statement? Explain with illustration in the contemporary times. So, what is this question is talking about? Can anyone?
Yes. Like in present day, there are a lot of organizations are emerging, like in democratic government, civil societies. All these are lacking commonly shared values.
Sorry.
Promoting selfish interest rather than other problem. Having loss in democracy, there are lacking commonly shared values within organizations.
Acha. What do you mean by common, this moral values and obligation, that those are commonly shared?
ethics. Without ethics,
Without ethics,
no law, no democratic government.
how can you write? Can you give me example? What do you mean by illustration? What do you mean by illustration?
Example.
You have to explain with examples. Okay. Hmm.
For example, some NGO like
Hmm.
that is promoting self-interest rather than public good.
Hmm.
Some NGO.
Are you reading newspaper daily? So can anyone apply any example here?
Some Israel, ma'am.
Israel. Okay. We can quote the recent farmers protest. Okay.
Farm laws.
What do you mean by without commonly shared and widely entrenched moral values and obligations? What do you mean by this? First statement. You have to deconstruct the question first. Don't go directly, that's why democratic government. Okay. First, you understand what is, you deconstruct. First for this. Okay. And understand by this statement. And illustration and contemporary. These are the keywords, right? So, what are without commonly shared and widely entrenched moral values and obligations? What do you mean by that?
Now we can quote some scams, 2G scam.
I am asking you that part. You are telling another part. Huh?
Food processing English. Example, food shall Veda, which have certain laws, but hiding the laws and just giving product other ways. I mean, they.
No, but I am asking you without commonly shared and widely entrenched moral values and obligation. What do you mean by that? I am asking you.
Not having shared values and obligation towards others, ma'am. Individuals doesn't having obligation towards society or other individuals.
Okay, for example.
Like robbery, theft. If one follows those things, they are violating others' values, though they are encouraged.
See, for any family, I'm asking you, do we have any common value in every family? What are these? Respecting elders.
Not wasting food. Like
Not wasting food and
hard work.
Hard work. Oh my God. Without ethical values, the people will be suspicious and society becomes thorough. See, why do you think lot? Actually, I didn't understand. You are saying correct only, but you are not confident. For example, if there is no honesty in a family, will it survive?
No.
In the society, will it survive? In the nation, will it survive? So these are the common obligations. Means nothing but our duties. What are fundamental duties generally? Do we have fundamental rights and fundamental duties in our constitution?
Yes.
What are those constitutional values? Aren't they moral, commonly shared values?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
So we already know that our constitutional values are commonly shared by ours, and also we have some duties commonly shared by us. If we are not respecting these constitutional values, what will happen? For example, if you take neither the law, our constitution says what justice we have to provide, socio-economic, political justice. If the law is prepared or formulated while, for example, they are wantonly discriminating certain minority people. In a democracy, we know, even though if the law is prepared by a autocratic, it is not ethical, unethical. And even in democracy also, the majority, generally democracy is ruled by majority people. And these majority rule also influenced by certain group. Vested interests are there, right? If this group is going against certain minority people, and the government implemented a law. If I can say that in Israel, there was a law with respect to a sexual harassment. Okay. They said if the sexual harassment done by the Palestine, the punishment will be high. If it is done by Jews, the punishment would be less. What does it mean?
Yes.
It is institutionalization of racism. Racism. The law itself is failing. It's not at all democratic. You understood what I'm saying? So, if you have some common shared values and obligations, then the law will be intact. If you don't have, if you don't have, automatically the law may not be ethical law. Similarly, if you apply for a government also, is a democratic government. So democratic government, obviously, if I already told you, if it is a majority rule, the democracy also will be become, a charismatic leader is only elected for the long run. What happened in the Myanmar? See, in the, if for example, if you take in the Myanmar, they are actually, from the this monarchy to, they have shifted to the democracy. And the democracy now later become military rule. Why? Because they are actually want to have all power within certain group of people. So the democracy itself is autocratic. When you don't have, they don't want to share the power, then they don't want to share the wealth. Automatically, they want to consolidate power that will result into a democratic government into autocratic. You can give all these examples. I don't know whether your facial expressions I am unable to understand. And similarly, market economy. If you feel that only profit is mine, I don't bother about the society, you feel that you don't have any shared value. And that always results into adulteration. And a lot of, you don't feel CSR, right? CSR is you give respect to your planet and your people. You are not only, it is a stakeholder approach. But when you have only your shareholder approach, that automatically results into unethical. You will have a lot of unethical practices, Volkswagen case, Maggie scandal, all those things will be result. That market economy will ruin the public and environment. They can extract the these public resources also indiscriminately. That will threat to the environment. That will be threat to the people health. So when you don't have commonly shared these values and obligations, that automatically results into an unethical law, an autocratic government, and an unethical economy. So this you have to explain. First, you have to explain in the introduction part, and you need to give a subheading with respect to law, with respect to democratic government, with respect to economy, you give example. And just to giving all those things, you have to give some solution also. So it is essential for every society to prosper, to follow moral and ethical values, so that it will survive both the law, economy, and society. So this is the way you need to address this question. So if it is very difficult to understand the question, and how you can expect you will write a good answer in your exam? Most of the people will say it's easy. But when practically, when you start try to attempt the answer, you will see many hurdles in your preparation that sometimes will feel you give up. But that is not the case. If you put right effort in the right time, it always give you right results. Okay, I just gave you example this question because you might understood already. If you already prepared, you are already doing ethics answer writing. It's very easy question. Understood? So like this, there are many questions in ethics. Some questions will you feel like you know everything, but when you want to write answer, you may not get the right examples, right philosophies. You can apply also. But if you are not able to recollect whatever you read in the time of exam, then your knowledge is not up to the mark. It is required, because if you are able to apply your knowledge at the right time, then only your knowledge will be rewarded. Okay, so please you check the third point, whether your concepts and definitions and understanding of the questions are clear or not. And other than that, do you have any interest to read and remember codes? If you feel that it is very difficult for me to remember the code, then you forget about getting high score. Because whenever it is required, you can start with the quotation, end with the quotation, but very simple quotations. If you keep on looking to the quotes daily, one quote also, you can gather a lot of quotes. But there are particular quotes with respect to business, with respect to environment, with respect to development, sustainable development, women empowerment. All those quotes are very handy. Do you think and analyze the socio-economic, political, administrative issues? How many of you can think about all the issues that happen with surrounding us? If there is a issue of drugs addiction, can you think how to, as an administrator, anytime, did you think yourself as an administrator and what could be the solution? How can we help those drug addicts to overcome that issue? Rehabilitation center is an instant solution. But in the long run, if the people themselves not to go for the drugs, what we have to do? What could be the root cause of the issue? First, you need to find out the root cause of the issue. And then, based on that root cause, you have to apply the various solutions. That can be multifaceted problem. You need multidimensional approach. You need to think as an administrator whenever there is a problem of like, for example, with respect to sexual harassment, how you can address. If you are a CEO, there are a lot of case studies. If you are a CEO of a certain company, there is a sexual harassment of your employee, and that person is very highly contributing to the company, and you cannot lay off that person. But at the same time, you need to address the sexual harassment case. And you need to put your shoes, like empathetic. You should be in the shoes of that particular person, and you feel, and you need to think the solution. If you are not habituated with that type of mindset, you need to start applying that mindset. Okay. So that is other point. And do you know the best practice? Whenever there are best practices, for example, if you take Niti Aayog publishes that report, the best practices within the states itself. All the social sector, for example, if a drug addiction also, for skill development, there are various government, Gujarat government and this Punjab government, they have variety of best practices. If you go through them, you can use them also in your exam. Okay. Do you have a list of this? You have to work on it, various examples with respect to role models, philosophers, in Indian philosophers, in Nishkama Karma, or if you go for this Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Median, Buddha, all these things will come handy whenever you you start writing your answers. So these are some hindrances that can block your answer writing skills. So if you address them, it is easy for you to score good marks. And how to improve? First, what will you do? You have to improve your reading speed. So daily, you have to read at least editorials. You keep the time. You should have some digital watch with you and check whenever you're reading any article, really how much time you are taking. Is it going beyond like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes? If it is 15 minutes you are taking, then you have to reduce. That would be your goal. Within the 5 minutes, you have to complete. For example, if there is an editorial, maybe you count how many words are there in that article, and based on that you check how if it is 1,000 words para or editorial, how much time you are taking. Is it 10 minutes or 20 minutes? If it is taking 20 minutes, you have to reduce to at least 7 minutes. Okay? And also, while reading the newspaper, also you can also gather your examples and get the conceptual clarity. Either you can take the classes and you can discuss with your friends. And then answer writing practice. There is no shortcut for answer writing, only practice, practice, practice. You have to practice till you ace. Okay, so better you can practice your previous year questions. Make habit of reading quotes also, and you can also discuss when daily one quote. It's like some pill. Okay, good quotes are always like acts as a pill. Sometimes if you very dull, if you read any quote also, that will motivate us. So that is the power of quotes. So you love those quotes and inculcate into your life. and you can discuss this quote. I actually liked it, and you can talk to your friends, or whenever you have tea time, tea break time, that time you can utilize. Okay. And these are the some simple quotes. A man without ethics is a wild beast loosed upon this world. Being a good human being is good business. Sustainability is about ecology, economy, and equity. The strength of a nation derives from the integrity of the home. Very simple quotes. They are very friendly. You can use in your introduction or conclusion also. Okay. And you can also follow various websites like Speaking Tree. We can go through the Times of India. There is a Speaking Tree. There will be a lot of articles with respect to values. Okay, how to handle anger, how to virtues can be inculcated. All those things will be there in the Speaking Tree, and also YouTube channel like the School of Life and Better India. Obviously, you know, I think there you can see topics civil servants will be there. For example, if you take the district collector and Harshika Singh, she actually worked towards making Mandla district 100% literacy. Okay. And you can also take the example from Prime Minister Man Ki Baat and also newspaper. And you know, while you're reading your ethics textbooks, for example, there you already have in the first chapter, role of administrators, leadership, all those personalities. While reading, you will get a lot of quotes. Right? You can gather which are very handy for you. Don't pressurize yourself. I have to mug up. You like it and you remember. If you force it, you will forget. Okay? So these are the few important things that you need to take. And if you take the two parts, like if we observe the question pattern, there will be theory based question, like they will ask on various values, right? So values based on, for example, values means here ethics and values, not that values. Values means civil services values like integrity, probity, impartiality, like that. They will ask the theory part, and also code based questions also there. In theory part, generally, you should have the proper definition of that. Maybe with the use of some diagrams, if it is possible, you can inculcate the diagrams also. You can also list the various dimensions with respect to them. Add at least 1 or 2 examples with respect to that value. And case studies are best practices. For example, even you can use the Supreme Court judgments also. We use generally in polity Supreme Court judgments, but for example, if there is a sexual harassment case, we can use Vishaka guidelines, or we can use the other, whatever the Supreme Court judgments are there. If it is applicable, you can use them as a handy. And if any certain IAS, IPS officer, because it is related to administration, if any IAS or IPS officer is doing very good service to the nation, then you can use those examples, use quotes or poems wherever if it is required, and also diagrams. It's general. I'm just telling you a general synopsis for all the theory-based questions. And similarly, for code-based questions also, it is very important for either it is theory or code-based question. You need to break down the question. You need to deconstruct the question, and while answering, you need to construct the answer. Okay, so there will be parts in the question. So you are addressing one by one, so you are constructing it. Okay, now, for example, there is a quotation. Quotation, for example, if you take ethics is knowing the difference between what you have the right to do and what is right to do. Looks like very familiar. But whenever you are writing, you might do a lot of mistakes. Okay, so you need to know, generally you need to say, deconstruct the question. Ethics, what do you mean by ethics? So it is knowing the difference, what are the difference between what you have right to do and what is right to do. So what is difference between these two that you should understand. If you don't understand the difference between two, you will not able to answer this question. And you might write a wrong answer also. Okay, so what you have to do whenever there is a quote-based question, first you explain the quotation as it is, what that inference. Okay, then for that, while addressing the parts, you can use any philosophers or philosophies. For example, someone says it is ethics is following ethic. For example, if it is, what do you mean by ethics? First of all,
different types of ethics, ma'am. Descriptive ethics, normative ethics, like in a holistic.
Sorry, our ethics is nothing but it's related to your proper human conduct. Okay, that proper human conduct will not, while exercising your right, you should not hurt others. That's what it is all about. So here you can tell, like, see why people do something hurting others. Maybe there might be some ignorance. So Plato and Socrates says, if a person is doing some unethical action, maybe if it is because of the ignorance, not because of the knowingly. But whereas Aristotle says, no, the people voluntarily also do wrong actions, not because of the ignorance. It all depends on the character. So you can correct here, connect. You have the right to do. For example, what rights you have? Right to speech. You can start with your constitutional values, right? You have fundamental rights from what to, from where to where?
14.
Huh? 12 to 35. Huh? So our constitution is very what these fundamental rights, what are, especially if you take, you have the right to speech. But do you have the right to speak hate? So what does it mean? You have the right to do. Yes, you have the right to speak. But what is right to do? At the same time, you should not have a hate speech that will hurt others, or that will bring some chaos in the society. So you have the right to do means you have to do some action which is not only helping yourself but also protecting others also. That is what it means. While you are writing, you can say that I have right to speech, but at the same time that speech should not hurt others. Okay. So similarly, you have the right to do business. Okay. But at the same time, you don't have any right to exploit. So you need to write in that context. It is ethics is all about behaving, not only taking action for yourself, but also protecting others' rights also. In that context, you need to write this answer. Then you divide the structure and you can give the examples. You have to give various examples. There you can write, here I have written some political, and you can write something related to environment and economy. So you divide this question with respect to society perspective, social issue, and environment and economy, and political, like your right to speech. If you have 4 divisions, and if you are able to explain what you have the right to do and what it is the right way to do, if you are explaining with the various dimensions, and that automatically fulfill the answer. Okay, if you are getting, so you can tell with the present context. Whenever you are giving the example, you can connect with the present context, and also you can have administrative perspective also. Administrative perspective, you can tell me what is the administrator right to do here and what is the correct way to do.
Sometimes bureaucratic rules will be so rigid.
Okay.
It is about bureaucratic ethics versus democratic ethics.
Okay, for example, if you take the PDS case, when fingerprints are not able to match, you say I'm following the rule of the law. But at the same time, you need, your main aim is to provide the welfare, right? But at that point of time, what is the right way and what you have the right to do? You have the right to do to reject the person. But what would be the right way? You need to address the issue also. The problem with the technology, not with the person. So you have to see the other alternative in order to provide the service to the weaker section of the society. So that way you need to address. You can write all the dimensions, present context, but because it is related to a civil servant exam, you have an administrative perspective also in this answer. So whenever you take a code-based question, remember you can write, you break down. You have to explain the code as it is. And if you are able to apply any philosophies while explaining to them, then you give the examples with respect to present context and also add an administrative perspective. And in the end, I can tell you, if it is issue-based question, don't leave answer with issue. You conclude with a positive end. Okay, so in that positive end, you can also write a quotation also, which can handy quotations, you can use it. Okay, and so this is about code-based question. And case studies part, you know, for case studies, last year itself, UPSC got criticism, lot of criticism with respect to case studies, because we know already 3,000 words were given. So that's the reason this year the words, the size of the case study little bit reduced. Still, it is a challenging for us because it is almost more than 2,000 words. Now, the first thing should be in the case study is that you have to underline in the first reading itself, like a detective. I always tell you to read like a detective. What detective will do generally? So they will identify the each and every keyword. If there is a keyword, you underline it. So when you underline, while only reading the first time itself, and you will not get much time to read again. When you are reading the first time itself, you need to underline the keywords, and you can understand what would be the what are the stakeholders involved, what is the main issue, whether it is related to integrity, test of integrity, whether it is related to a bureaucracy, or whether it is, you need to identify while reading itself also. And also you can, after you practicing, if you practice like 100 case studies like that, you automatically get into while reading the case study itself. So the practice mantra applicable to everything, but here the main intention is your reading speed should be very intact. That in the first reading itself, you have to identify the keywords, stakeholders, your role, what is the main issue of the case study. And then for that you can practice the previous question papers. So the themes, similar themes, actually if I see, in 2014, there was a question with respect to some manufacturing company, and similar question is repeated in after 4 years. So there are questions repeating with extra, some issue is adding to the same case study, but there is no change at all. So most of the cases are related to testing your integrity, okay, checking your value system, like as a civil services aspirant, they are checking whether you follow your bureaucratic aptitude, or whether you disappointed, discouraged because of lot of corruption. Like that, they will ask that type of questions. And some questions from 2017 onwards, they're directly giving some issue based, like migration crisis, or some food crisis. They are giving you some villages. They are giving you whether it is a good village or a good practice of what do you call, some village, some company stays at that village. At the same time, it provides some CSR activities. So they ask you like whether it is a good thing or bad thing. So like that, they are asking your opinion also. So opinion-based questions, issue-based questions, value-based questions, all if you find out, if you work on all the previous year questions, you will able to understand what type of questions are repeating in various case studies. Okay, so that is it will help you when you practice previous year questions. So you can have ready templates also, because most of the questions are repeating. So you can easily, they will ask you ethical dilemma. So most of the questions, if you see, like for example 2023, I'm not giving the case study here, they will ask you ethical issues. Okay, then they will ask you to evaluate what is available. Ethical issues, what are involved, what are the options available. Ethical issues involved, what are the options available. So if you observe all the case studies, they are always asking you what are the ethical issues, what are the options available. So these are the common things if you see all the questions. And similarly in 2022 also, the same thing, ethical issues, what are the options, critical examine the available, options available, ethical issues. And also there is another word called ethical dilemma. Evaluate the options, ethical dilemma. So I can ask you, what is the difference between ethical issues and ethical dilemma? Can anyone tell me?
Dilemma is having gray area between two options, ma'am, not getting clear.
So what I can tell you, the difference is not much. Okay, but generally, ethical dilemma is result because of there are two competing values are there. Okay, so that can be because of the conflict of interest, because of conflict of authority, because of your role is conflicting. Okay, so you as a person, as an administrator, you may face either you have to choose public or you have to choose private interest. So certain things result into ethical dilemma. And ethical issues, ethical dilemma can be a part of a ethical issue. For example, you are violating the, somebody is violating the constitutional values, or somebody is violating the law of the land. All this comes as an ethical issue. Because of that, somebody is losing their right to health. That is also ethical issue. Somebody is practicing some corruption. That is also ethical issue. So even these dilemmas also can be included as an ethical issue. But when they specifically talked about ethical dilemma, here you have to give two competing values that you have to mention, because the law and order is asking something, your conscience is saying something. For example, there are people protesting very peacefully, but your political boss is saying you charge them. But your conscience is saying this is not correct, but you have to follow the order of the authority. So that time you face ethical dilemma. You understand? So ethical dilemma can be part of the ethical issue, but ethical issue you cannot interlink, because they need two equal competing values. So that you should understand while writing the answer, because whether they are asking ethical dilemma, whether they are asking ethical issue, that you have to check and address it properly. Okay. So this is one of the case study. It's an old case study. If we have time, we can go. Otherwise, we'll leave it. So generally, how to deal the case study? Whether whatever the whenever you read the case study, you should understand the crux of the case study. Okay. So most of the students, you should understand the crux, and that crux can be your introduction. And if you are if you have a difficulty to write the crux in the introduction part, you can use anything related to the constitution. For example, there is a religious, some communal violence, or then you can use the article 25-28 gives our constitution freedom of religion, something like that. Okay, so this otherwise, what if it is in contemporary, if there is something in the news, you can these days in present days there are some issues, or you can use some report data. For example, there is enrollment issue, gender, for example, girls enrollment ratio is very less. So you can use the data that yes, gross enrollment ratio of so and so is very, very less as per so and so report. Or if there is a sexual violence, so as per the source NCRB records, this much of percentage of domestic violence cases are increasing. If you are if you have that difficulty, you can use the data in your introduction. But it is not possible for every case study you can have the data. So for the sake, you can use even quotes also. Okay, so either you can start with the crux of the case study, or you can use the constitution, or you can use various reports, or you can use the quote, but you have to enter with a positive introduction. That then obviously we know that most of them says that you have to write stakeholders, but not every case study is required to write stakeholders. You have to choose as per the case study, then you can write the stakeholders. You have to address each and every, even whenever there are case studies, something like they will give you minors also involved in the fire accident. So that minors is also an important stakeholder. So that type of words, you have to be very cautious. Why I said as a detective means that type of words also you have to address it and use them as a stakeholders in your answer. Okay, so for this stakeholders also you have to draw different styles of diagrams are there, you can use it. Okay, and you know, then they will ask you obviously options, they will ask you like what are the ethical issues are involved, what are the ethical dilemmas involved. As per the requirement, you can write what they have asked. And then how should be your options? Most of the aspirants also, they are very confused what type of options I should write. So I am giving you that UPSC initially used to give the options itself, and they used to ask us to evaluate those options. For example, if I take you, this is one of the case study, and they actually gave already options like this way. If they had given this type of options, you can use them in your answers also, right? So UPSC itself is giving you some options, so you can await the visit of the superior officer and let him take decision. Means you are delegating the task to your superior. You can seek his advice in writing on phone, and whoever asked you, political boss or someone, you are seeking written form. You can consult your predecessor colleagues, then decide what to do. And you can find out if any alternate plot can be got in exchange, and then send a comprehensive written report. So these are particular to the case study. But how UPSC already given options in the question itself. If you observe these options, this will give you some insight how your options should be. So most of them, right, like even if I go through other option also, see, it's a very easy. So considering the rigid order of chief engineer, transfer, seek transfer. So most of the aspirants, right, one of the best option is, I will seek transfer, I will take leave, I will resign from the position. So those are the very easy options to write, but that will be the last option. Okay, so before that, if you see, follow the advice of the chief engineer. For example, there is some construction is going on. So you find out some irregularities in the construction, and you ask to your chief engineer, what is the problem? And the chief engineer said, no, it's okay, leave it. You follow as per my command. Then you can say, yes, I will follow the advice of the chief engineer. Then make an exhaustive report of the situation, bringing out all the facts and analysis along with your own viewpoints stated clearly, and seek for written orders from the chief engineer. This is to take care of yourself, right? So you are not just from his word, you are not taking, but you are preparing a report and asking the chief engineer to sign. If the chief engineer is right, he will sign. But if chief engineer is wrong, obviously he will not be ready to sign. That is the way to address. And call for explanation from the junior engineers and issue orders. So similarly, if you see, recently also there was a case study. There were junior engineers are very neglected, and they were not checking the proper, but the last minute we came to know there are a lot of issues. Now here you are called for explanation for the junior engineers and issue orders to the contract for the necessary correction within the targeted time. And last, highlighting the issue to the it reaches the superiors above the chief engineer. You are escalating the issue. You are bindas. I am escaping from the issue. I need transfer. Here you are asking them, come on, give me explanation. Why did you do this? And you are asking them, if there is time available, you are asking them to do the correction. Or you are asking the chief engineer, chalo, I will leave, but mujhe to sign karke de do. I will I will inform my superiors. So these are the two some form of ethical considerations are there in those options. So UPSC already had given this type of options. So what you have to do? You have to do one research, that you go through the previous year questions. There are already some case studies. In that case studies already UPSC had given some options. You choose them wisely. Why I am saying, because say nobody will write like this, madam, this much time is not sufficient, but you take the crux, apply in your answers. So these are very, very handy and very helpful, because UPSC already expecting this type of options. So if your answers are also showing the similar options, automatically that will gain. Okay, so this type of options you need to write in your answer. And what would be your course of action? Whether you believe it or not, ethics is all about even if you want to kill a person, okay, if you are able to justify, you can do it. Aram se. Okay, So whatever the course of action you are going to take, you always need to justify why you are taking that decision. If I am asking explanation from the juniors because I don't want to repeat from my other subordinates, okay, whatever the action I am taking, I will always justify. If I have to forgive one person, I will tell hate the sin, not the sinners. I will justify each and every point. If I have to go against the law of the land to protect someone, then I will tell suffer injustice rather than commit it. I am justifying each and every point whenever I am writing. I am justifying why I am doing this one. If you are able to justify your course of action, you will fetch very good marks. And you have to write like, I am approaching rule-based objective approach, or I am following our constitutional theme, or I am applying the law of the land. Okay, or I am applying this duty-based deontology, or I want to have measure greater happiness to the greater people. So whatever it is, if you are going to justify in your course of action, you will fetch good marks. There you have to tell each and every point. If for example, there is an issue in the construction, you will seek explanatory from juniors because you want to them, if they are liable, you have to punish them. You have to take the disciplinary action against them. And at the same, the contractor also need to be punished. Each and everything you need to address. This is a public fund. This is your responsibility. You are accountable to the public funds and public safety. All these points you need to write in your answer. The merits and demerits you will write. Yes, it upholds my integrity. It upholds. It shows the compassion. It shows the empathy. You use like that in merits and demerits. But whenever you are writing your course of action, whatever the point you are writing, you need to justify. If you are justifying and addressing each and every point, I'm telling you also this is very important, because there are some cases they will give you very, very minor things. You think there is no need to address this issue. No, your course of action must address even a minor issue also. That means you have comprehensive picture of the case study. This type of action you will not do last half an hour of the exam. For this, you need peace of mind. And if you end up the half an hour, if you are trying to attempt your case studies, you will gone. Your ethics is gone, your score is gone, your rank is also gone. So ethics and essay are very, very crucial papers that are very easy if you really put practice. And you can aramse score very good score. We observed in essay paper also and also in ethics paper. All are getting obviously more than 120 aramse. And they're also giving you their notes also. So what's the problem? Just you need to practice. Your reading will not help you. I'm telling you, applying your knowledge at the right time with the right effort only will give you the results. It means you have to put on the paper whatever thoughts you are getting whenever you see a question. If you are not able to recollect your question, your answer to the right, the demand of the question, then your knowledge is not sufficient. You need to work on your knowledge. If you have a lot of knowledge, but still you are not applying, there is a problem. Understood? So this is about the case study. And conclusion, you can also use some constitutional articles or government initiatives and some quotes, easy quotes, so that you can, if you don't have time, you can use as a simple quotes to conclude your any answer or even case study. Okay. So then, how this VIDHURA? So this is nice, the free workshop. Finally, actually, I wanted to have that case study to discuss. But before that, I just want to tell you about our VIDHURA. It's a program of ethics test series, okay, personal mentorship. And this VIDHURA is mainly have some Navaratnas, like ISR government. This VIDHURA also have some Navaratnas, okay. So these Navaratnas is like that. First, it is almost 2.5 months course, and from November 6th to it will go till Jan 14th. So almost it's 2.5 months. So here what we will do, daily we will give one case study and 2 theory questions in the morning from Monday to Friday. And for these questions, we'll provide explanation record in the evening. So if you have any problem, you can ask us in your writing skills, any problem, we can help you. But for whatever the case study and whatever the questions we give, for those we will provide the explanatory video, so that you can check whether your answer is up to the mark or not. But after that, there will be 10 tests. 10 tests means every Saturday, that is in the afternoon, 2 to 4. There will be 1.5 hour test for 6 chapters. Matlab, case studies, every test will have case studies, 3 case studies will be there. So there is no specific for case studies. And contribution of moral thinkers, there will be code-based questions in every test. So because of that, 2 lines are eliminated and 6 lines, 6 chapters. So 6 tests, 6 weeks. So every Saturday, 2 to 4 p.m, you have to write the exam, because ethics test will be in the afternoon. So that's the reason I specifically picked the time of 2 to 4. Okay. And after 4 to 6, you will have explanatory session, because we will not delay much. On the spot, if you think we brainstorm that time itself, that will be more helpful. So for all the 6 chapter-wise tests, and also in between, after 3 chapters, there will be 2 simulated tests and 2 full-length tests. And these 2 simulated tests also, we want to have full-length test. It means 250 marks. All these 6 chapter tests are 125 marks, but these simulated and the full-length tests are for 250 marks. We know, because ethics, it is very, very important to complete the full paper. So how much you can test in the first simulated test, second simulated test, and finally at the end, the 2 full-length test, it is your target to complete the full paper within the time. Okay, so we'll provide the model answers for these 10 tests only, and there will be an interactive session, and also we can give we do correction for all these 10 tests. And if there is a one thing, rewriting. The rewriting is there only in the Shanthalakshmiias Academy. If your answers are not up to the mark, we will ask you to rewrite also. You know the value of rewriting once you practice it. Okay. Then personalized feedback, tracking individual performance. So the ultimately this is the schedule, and I will share with you. You can go through this schedule, and total we are going to deal almost 174 questions and 82 case studies. So almost if you complete all these things, I think you will very confident about your ethics score. Okay. So this full length test will be in the afternoon 2 to 5, and this simulated test we will give you recorded video, because the time constraint will be there for you. Maybe once you jump into January, you will feel the prelims is nearby. Okay. So only for the simulated test, we will give you recorded video. But in January, the full length test, we will have live explanation. Okay. The timings and everything is given in the schedule. So any questions? So is it useful? First of all, I want to ask a question. Is it useful? Anything that you missed till now about ethics? Any cloud is there? That cloud is clear? Huh? Online? So this is about VIDHURA. Okay. So, okay. Anyone interested? The program is, this test series is going to start from November 6th. So you can join from Monday onwards. Okay. Chalo.